Beep, beep. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this thing that we like to call Northern News Now Plus on the Northern News Now Plus app. I'm your host, whether you like it or not, Matt Rasmussen, a.k.a. the King of Halloween, a.k.a. the morning show director here, a.k.a. the host of Movie Mondays with Matt. And let me tell you a little bit about this show. So this podcast show you're watching right now is designed to be a companion piece to Movie Mondays with Matt, the TV show. So if you haven't seen the TV segments that I do here, we've been doing them for a few weeks now. And it's always on a Monday. I'll show up on the desk with my anchors and I'll recap the box office figures. And every episode kind of has its own theme and title. And I've worked in this thing called Flick of the Week, and that kind of sets the tone for what each episode is on the morning show. And I always base every episode after a particular movie that's always in the box office or it's about to come out if it's like a promotional thing, and it's always based around something that's relevant that'll be showing. And so the very first episode of Movie Mondays with Matt was Jurassic World, Rebirth. And so the whole thing was based around that. And usually I work in silly costumes and movie quotes and bits taken from movies and things to kind of set it apart and make it entertaining, as anything in the box office should be. So that's been going for a little while, and then after that first episode on the TV, it was dictated that this podcast is also launched to be a companion piece to the TV series. So that being said, cards on the table, although this is the first episode, this is a retroactively recorded episode, because after we decided to do this podcast thing, it took a few weeks to figure this part of it out and get it ready to roll. So I missed the first few weeks of what this podcast show will be. So I'm going to cover that now and just get it out of the way here. So it is officially episode 1 of Movie Mondays with Matt, the podcast show. And this also was put in place so that I could just ramble on endlessly about whatever I didn't get to talk about on the morning show live. And this is also live streaming for all of you as well. And thank you for tuning in, all of you who are out there. So, how do we begin here? Let me talk a little bit about why Movie Mondays with Matt even came to be, the TV show. So that came about because we decided we wanted to put more fun content onto the morning show and have fun little things like this, more fun conversational pieces, and to give the chance to take someone from behind the camera and put them in front of the camera. And that's something I've always kind of wanted to do myself here. I've been the morning show director at this station for like 9 years now, and normally you see me during spooky season. I play the King of Halloween during the Halloween specials and other like special little appearances, and I'll show up in other things throughout the year. But this is the first time I finally get to come out and hang out with the anchors on a weekly basis and have my own little thing. And it's an absolute circus, and people seem to like it. So we're going to keep doing it until I get canceled. So that's the plan here. And I hope you're liking this podcast episode so far. There will be many more to come. So that's kind of the why of the whole thing. So let's get into episode 1, which was Jurassic World Rebirth. I'll just tell you right out of the gate. I saw Jurassic World Rebirth opening day. Didn't like it. Sorry to say, I had high hopes for it. Well, I didn't expect much of it going in, I'll be honest, because I do like the Jurassic Park films in general. This is part 7. This is part 7 of the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies. Where do you go after you've done so much with this franchise already? Where do you go with part 7? That was the conundrum that I was wondering, and I'm sure the creative team that made these movies was wondering that as well. Where do we go? And I guess the solution is back to an island again, which is a very similar plot with all the rest of these movies. And honestly, it just seemed like the same retreaded ground, nothing new, nothing fun happening in Rebirth. And it just seemed like everything that was presented in this movie was done better in the previous movies. So on that note, maybe we'll rewind a little bit and talk a little bit about the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise in general. Starting with 1993, the original Jurassic Park, groundbreaking, one of the greatest films of all time, a marvel, like in every possible way, special effects, acting, editing, sound design, everything. It won all kinds of awards, one of the greatest films of all time, one of Steven Spielberg's absolute masterpieces. Jurassic Park, classic, permanently in the zeitgeist as one of the greatest films ever. It took a lot of liberties from the original book, but whatever, doesn't matter. Jurassic Park is a nearly perfect film. It's amazing. And there's a fun little avenue I could take where after the novel came out and then the movie rights were going out there, both Steven Spielberg and James Cameron on the same day were going out to buy the rights to the film rights to Jurassic Park. And James Cameron got there a little too late. Steven Spielberg just barely beat him to the rights, bought it right from out from under him. And James Cameron was a little upset at that point, but then after he saw the film, he said, you know what? Steven Spielberg is the better man for this job. I would have made it more like Aliens, but with dinosaurs, and it would have cut out, like, you know, the kid appeal to this franchise, which is huge as far as merchandising and toys and all that stuff. So that's a fun little factoid about the Jurassic Park franchise. So part one is amazing. It took forever for part two to come out, and me as a kid and all my friends waited a very long time for part two to finally hit, and it did. In 1997, The Lost World Jurassic Park came out, again directed by Steven Spielberg, and it was great. I love that one as well. Obviously, it's not as good as the original, but it was great. I loved the whole, you know, every kid remembers the final scene that was tacked on at the end there, where the T-Rex is lost in San Diego. He's hitting the bus, and he's running around and causing all kinds of mayhem in the real world, and that was a really cool thing to see when you're a kid. So, love part two as well. Part three, Jurassic Park 3, came out in 2001, and this is the first time that Steven Spielberg, like, he was producing and he was involved creatively, but he didn't direct this one. And, you know, it was okay. It seemed like they were already out of ideas by the time part three happened, because then they went back to the same island that they were in part two. And there's some good cast members. They brought back Sam Neill as Alan Grant. They have William H. Macy. I love them. I love the cast. I like 3. A lot of people don't. I will always have the nostalgia feels for it, and I'll always appreciate and respect 3 for what it is. Regardless of, there's many moments people don't like, including the talking Velociraptor part. Whatever. I don't mind that the Velociraptor spoke. It played into the themes of Jurassic Park 3, which is that Velociraptors are smarter than we ever thought they were, that they can communicate with each other, and they can plan and coordinate attacks, and they discover all these things about, you know, there's the thing that they 3D print that they use at the end to get away from the Velociraptors because they're communicating with them. Velociraptors communicating is a big part of the plot. So that little dream sequence where the Velociraptor says, "Alan, I know it's a big meme and people don't like it. It makes sense for what it is." And I don't think this is the low of that franchise. I think there are many more lows that came after this point. So, to those of you Jurassic Park 3 haters out there, I say give it a rewatch, especially now that these new ones have come out. You know, because 3 is a much more powerful film than some of these newer ones. So, I love 3 and I always will. Moving on to the next one, there was a huge gap because 3, it didn't have the box office returns everyone wanted. And it took a long time for the next one to come out, which was in 2015, which was then Jurassic World. Everyone loves Jurassic World. I love Jurassic World as well. And it finally scratched that itch that we always wanted to see with finally a fully functioning Jurassic Park that people are openly coming to and all of that. So that was really cool to see, and then they bring in some new cast members. And it's a fun movie in general, and I think as far as Rotten Tomatoes goes and audiences are concerned, this is probably the second fan favorite in the franchise. And it's good, and it makes sense, and I will always rank this one probably number 4 for myself. I really enjoyed it, but then they started setting up more films after this, and this leads right into the Jurassic World trilogy. In 2018, Fallen Kingdom came out, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It follows some of those same characters, and it was okay. It was dark. It had its own thing going on. It started trying to present new ideas, which I really appreciated, actually, because this franchise loves to just repeat the same stuff over and over again. So I give Fallen Kingdom an A for effort in what they were trying to do. They created a brand new dinosaur that had all these, scary components to him to be like the ultimate predator, ultimate survivalist. Very dark movie. It dealt with cloning and all that stuff. And it started to open the door to what we always wanted to see, that The Lost World was teasing, where the dinosaurs start to coexist with humans. At the end there, spoiler for those of you who haven't seen the 2018 movie, the dinosaurs break out into the world, and they're running amok amongst the people, and they're interacting with the world. And that's what we always wanted to see. That's what I always wanted to see as a kid. And that's what the marketing kind of went heavy on with this movie. And I expected we'd see more of that in this one, but I get it. That's just the tease ending, which leads into then 2021, 2022 with Jurassic World Dominion, which was supposed to be the final installment altogether and the final installment of this new trilogy. And that is the one that should have leaned more heavily into the dinosaurs are out in the world and really had fun with that concept. But they kind of dropped the ball with it. There was a lot of deleted scenes where they cut that stuff out, and they did a lot of marketing with that as well. There were a lot of disappointments with Dominion. Some of the highlights with Dominion is that they bring back the original cast members. They bring back Alan Grant and Laura Dern and the original 3 that of course Jeff Goldblum. Those 3 that we loved so much from the original Jurassic Park are back to kind of cap off this story. And it was good to see them again. Honestly, that is my favorite part of those. That last film of the Dominion. So I recommend that one as well. A lot of haters on that one as well, and I get it. There's a lot of stuff that just didn't quite gel, but seeing the cast back together again, that was worth the price of admission alone. So my ranking of the 6 previous films would be Part 1, number 1, Part 2, number 2, Part 3, number 3, Part 4, number 4, between 5 and 6. You know what? 5 and 6 in 5 and 6. Let's do that. So in order. So they're incrementally getting worse as far as I'm concerned and as far as the audience in general is concerned. And then this new one came out, Jurassic World Rebirth. And I thought it came out too quickly. I felt like we needed to chew on Dominion a little bit more and respect it a little bit more. And we just needed some time away from this franchise before they try to force it back into theaters again to continue the IP, which plainly that's what this is they want to continue the IP of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. That is why they forced out Part 7. They're like, well, we ended the story, let's just find another excuse to make another one. And it's just, nothing about Part 7 worked for me. I didn't like the characters, I didn't like the story. It's just everything we've seen, we've done before, and it was all done, not very good in my opinion. Especially, there's some very cringe-worthy moments that I think are the new franchise low. Anything with the T-Rex, unfortunately, was not good. I know there's the whole water rafting scene with the T-Rex, which was taken from the book, and I appreciate that they were trying to adapt that part. But it was just laughable and silly and ridiculous the whole time. Everything about it from the jump was just silly. There's a part where the girl is very quietly trying to inflate this gigantic raft that's just inches away from the T-Rex and trying not to wake him up. It's like, what? Excuse me? That's ridiculous. And then the raft blows up, and then it flops down, and the T-Rex, oh, magically the T-Rex is gone now. You expect us to believe that the T-Rex is that stealthy that it can just teleport out of the shot, like, without being all loud and fumbly, and those things make a lot of noise when they stomp around, and they're not very quick. You know, if he's asleep, he's not going to quickly get, it's ridiculous. So there's a lot of that stuff, and then there's the whole, he's pursuing them on the river, and he's like, oh, he's coming down on the raft. It's ridiculous. Sorry to say, not a lot I liked about this new film. So, as I said on the morning show, I would refer to this new one as Jurassic Meh, and that still holds true. I'll rewatch it, but for the meantime, that's just where it sits for now. Anyway, so that was my take on Jurassic World Rebirth. There's a few more episodes coming up here that we'll talk about some more films that were brand new in the box office at the time. And stay tuned, and we'll be right back here in just a minute with another film franchise recap. Take care.